Today we're going to talk about kind of the future of 2024 Valorant and where I think the game is heading overall and how Paper Rex have kind of been the spearhead, I think, of the idea we're going to talk about. And it's not W Gaming. No, today we're going to talk about utility combos, because if we look back at 2023 and what I consider the best three teams of that year in Paper Rex, EG, and Fnatic, I think that those three teams had one kind of thing in general as an advantage over everyone else. Of course, all those three teams had incredible players, and that of course helps, but I think that one thing that they were just kind of consistently better at throughout the year is just being able to be fast with their utility thought and using it in combination, right? Whether that's like three different people all using their utility at one very fast moment and not even necessarily having to, communicate that much to do so. That everyone just has that kind of innate understanding of this is how my utility can help in this situation to maybe get a kill or multiple kills, and then we can go from there. And when you look at it, to me, it's kind of inarguable that Paper Rex have been the team that has been spearheading in that direction for quite some time and has really been the leader and innovator in that kind of sense. Because when you look at how I feel like most teams build most of their team comps, to me, it tends to be more about minimizing weaknesses, right? Like, we have to have one agent from every single class and then, maybe a second smokes or a second initiator or whatever it is. And that allows you to, not have any massive weaknesses, right? If we have an agent from every class, that means that we can kind of, do everything a little bit. But we've seen that Paper Rex just don't go in that direction, right? They're not really interested, it seems, as much in like, oh, we got to have one Sentinel here and that and whatever. They're just interested more so, it seems, in how can we combo our stuff together to just create a massive advantage and go from there and just play to our strengths. Instead of minimizing weaknesses, let's just maximize our strengths instead. And I do think that we could see a lot more of that kind of style if Valorant is becoming about how quickly can you combo this util together, to find an advantage in this moment, this crucial moment in the round. Maybe it does make more sense to have comps that have big strengths, but maybe still do have more weaknesses. And if we look even more to the future in Valorant, I think that makes even more sense. Because if you look, for instance, at 2022, Ye absolutely destroyed everyone, right? But in 2023, there wasn't necessarily anyone who completely separated themselves from the crowd like Ye did in 2022. And I think it's probably because we're starting to hit somewhat of a mechanical ceiling, and the players at the very, very top of the game, your Demon Ones and your Somethings and the like, I think that they're all starting to get to kind of, the end game of the mechanical phase. Not that they can't get a little bit better, but I would be surprised if there's a lot more to see in terms of a mechanical play that, a human can actually achieve in this game. But in terms of the utility usage and the team coordination, I think that there's a lot to still be explored and discovered in this game. And so that is where probably the game is going to improve upon the most. And we're already starting to see some of those ideas be developed in Tier 2 as well, which means if some of the good Tier 2 teams are doing it, you would hope that the Tier 1 teams can do it as well. And I'm going to show you this game from Ascend here, where they did have a lot of cool combos, but you can see it in their team comp as well, that the team comp is combo focused, right? We're playing a Yoru. Yoru, you might say, is an unusual pick. It might become more common, but we're also playing an Omen here, which again, you might say is an unusual pick here on Bind, but in terms of combo potential, makes a ton of sense, right? Yoru comboing with Omen. Omen can deafen people with the paranoia. You then Yoru TP behind them, right? Or Fade can deafen people, and then your Omen maybe can TP, or your Yoru can TP, right? Obviously, Fade and Raze have a lot of combo potential. Obviously, double controller combos pretty well with Yoru as well in terms of helping him disguise where he's TPing and all of that. Obviously, Fade and Viper. You've got the Molly with the Siege potential. Like, there's a lot of different combo potential in this kind of comp. And they had some really cool combos as well. Like, take a look at this round right here, where you're going to see just a really cool idea. It's a pretty simple idea, but it's very, very cool, right? Because take a look. They're going to throw that Yoru flash and the Fade Haunt. And what you're about to see is this Fade Haunt is going to land up here, but the flash is going to bounce off this wall up here as well, right? So the idea is that obviously you're going to look at where the Fade Haunt is landing. And either if the flash goes off first, maybe you don't shoot the Fade Haunt. And if, you do shoot the Haunt like it's going to happen, you're going to get flashed, as we see right here. What a cool idea. And it leads to this free kill on the Raze. And we go even further here as well as we go on to this round. Okay, Alive makes a bit of a mistake there. But now you're going to see that they know that people are in here. Watch what's going to happen, because we're going to get a Seize in here. We're going to get the Omen Flash. We're going to get a Viper Molly in there as well that's going to get a kill because of the Seize. And that's the kind of thing that, again, to me is like, this is the future, right? So there goes the C's. You see the flash right there. You see that the snake bite gets a kill, right? It's all really good stuff. And those kind of quick combos that you can have, I think, is probably where we're going to end up, right? Of multiple people using their different bits of utility to combo together and, you know, win a round essentially. And those sorts of combos were littered throughout that game for Ascend, as I'll show you now.
SC z drugim punktem, no i to oni zaczynają nam coś fajnego gotować.
Jasne, przede wszystkim brawo Chadi za tą rundę poprzednią, bo to wyjście było świetne. Teraz jednak Alive robi to samo, co Chadi w rundzie poprzedniej.
I potem drudzy, no i w tym wszystkim Accent lepiej to wykorzystało, no ale teraz runda już z takimi pełnymi zakupami, jeżeli chodzi o SC. Dobry flash od Mosasiego, ale on upada i dobra ustawka w toaletach. Szaj z jedną eliminacją, wjeżdża Alive, wjeżdża, rozjeżdża, później Brody na pełnym biegu. No są problemy, no ale jest eliminacja od Hitcha, także szanse jeszcze są, coraz mniej czasu. Buddy z Alive'em starają się ten Spike Side obronić. Alive z eliminacją dodatkowo guść programu, zagrywany 2 eliminacje od Izraelczyka i sam Shai.
And really that last clip again is just a great example of very quick awareness of what utility I can add to this situation to potentially win a round and win the game as they do here. Because as you watch this forward, right, Alive doesn't have his ult until he gets the kill. Right, so it's just that understanding and that knowledge. And again, when they go to plant the spike here, again, you're going to see that we're going to get not just, you know, the C's, but it's going to be the Omen Flash and the C's in there again together, right? And then you see that Alive gets the kill, and just very quickly, right? Just like straight away, like, oh, I've got ult, let's go, right? They've been seized, you know, they've been flashed. Just a very quick understanding, and 2 kills, game 1, right? Like, that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about, of being just very fast with the decisions. And so you might say that this is me just being on pure cope, right? And it's just hopium on my part that, you know, teams are going to be more experimental and more interesting, and in reality, they're not going to be, right? And maybe that is the case, but I do think there is a legitimate argument to be made here that one of the things that has made Paper Rex so good is not just that they, you know, are crazy and W gaming, right? In fact, that cost them a lot of rounds. I think what makes them good is how fast they can think and how fast they can combo different bits of utility together to make it very hard for their opponents. And what makes this a potential exciting idea, I think, is that there doesn't have to be one set of standardized combos you do on a certain map. There are a ton of different types of combos you could do throughout all of the different agents in this game, right? And we saw it from Paper Rex last year, right? Like, you would think, oh, something's playing Reyna on Bind and Ascent. Why not just play Jet, right? He's a correct Jet, just put him on Jet anyway, right? Jet's the better agent. But they did it because they wanted to have Reyna flashes with Sky flashes, and you can't shoot both of them at the same time. Like, you can't avoid both of them at the same time, and therefore that's a really strong combo, even though it's with Reyna, one of, you know, the worst agents to use in pro play. And so yeah, let me know in the comments down below, am I just on the pure philosophical copium here and none of this will happen whatsoever? Or is there merit to this idea and you think that it makes sense that, hey, teams might lean into kind of this different style of philosophy when approaching the game and approaching their team comps?